So in addition to the big news about what the centre has done about Article 370 of the Constitution, the other really big thing which happened today was that the government announced that the state of Jammu and Kashmir is going to be bifurcated into two union territories. So on the one hand, you're going to have the union territory of Ladakh. On the other hand, you're going to have the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. For Ladakh, it's that this has been a long pending demand for the people of Ladakh, and it's necessary for them to realize their aspirations. For the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir to be created, however, interestingly, the reasoning provided is the prevailing internal security situation fueled by cross-border terrorism. So let's look at the sort of basic logistics of all of this. So first off, when they're splitting up the state, the union territory of Ladakh is going to get the districts of Kargil and Leh, and that's a pretty sizable in territory-wise chunk, though obviously in population that's very small. The rest of J&K will all fall into the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. The governor of current Jammu and Kashmir will become the lieutenant governor of both union territories. The Rajya Sabha representatives of Jammu and Kashmir, there are 4 at present. These will all now be there for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, because only the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir will be having a legislature. The UT of Ladakh will not have any representatives in the Rajya Sabha, because that is obviously based on state legislatures. Now, currently there are 7 members of parliament for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. This is going to be reduced to 6 as a whole. 5 will be for the state of Jammu and Kashmir and 1 for Ladakh. Lastly, one of the other big things which the Modi government has long wanted to do is sort of bring a new delimitation for the constituencies in Jammu and Kashmir, and that's something which is also happening as part of this reorganization bill. How is this going to change? What are the other changes which are going to come in to the new territories as it was? For Ladakh, mostly it doesn't really change. The only key thing here is that they will no longer be subject to any state assembly or any state rules which previously existed, which used to be there from Jammu and Kashmir. All of it will pretty much now all come from the center. It will be the same situation as what you see in Chandigarh, Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep Islands, that sort of thing. So the main changes, of course, are coming in for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So let's look at some of the things which are being done here. We were a bit unsure earlier, is it going to be done like Puducherry or will it be done like Delhi? The answer is that it's going to be on the lines of the Union Territory of Puducherry rather than Delhi. Here, how it will work is we have 239A of the Constitution of India will apply to this, which is pretty straightforward, just says that there will be an assembly which will operate on certain basis. The Legislative Assembly will have 107 seats. Previously, the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly had 111. Here it will be 107, though it should be noted that 24 will be kept vacant for the territories which are in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and will not be filled till such time as those territories are reoccupied. The other important point to note is that there will be reservations for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, and the Lieutenant Governor can nominate up to 2 women to be members of the assembly. And the reservations aspect obviously is a new one. Previously, the State Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir could decide its own reservations. Now it will follow the same policy followed in the rest of the country. And other things obviously are happening, that you don't no longer have the sort of almost dual citizenship and dual passports which you had for Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir. The flag of Jammu and Kashmir will no longer be applicable. The Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir will no longer be applicable. So these are obviously the headline changes. Now, in terms of it being a union territory itself, the new assembly will have 5-year assembly terms as compared to 6 for the old system. And the other big thing is that there's no legislative council anymore. So instead of having 2 houses of state government, there's only one. So it's a unicameral legislature. Now, the biggest thing, of course, which has scope for becoming a problem in the future, is there going to be disputes between the Lieutenant Governor and the State Assembly? Now here, what's been done to try and avoid what happened in Delhi is that we've seen a lot more careful setting out of certain things applying to the state. So for instance, they will not have power to make laws over police or public order, which other states generally get to do. And they will also not have power over anything which otherwise a union territory would not have, which all seems fairly straightforward. The key thing is obviously you have a legislative assembly which also will have a council of ministers, and there'll be a chief minister of this new union territory. Now the way it works in a state is that the council of ministers provides aids and advises the governor, and that's binding on them, and that's something which will continue here as well. But to avoid problems, what the centre has done in this new bill is they've specified that there will be discretion for the Lieutenant Governor in certain circumstances. Key to that will be that the Governor will have discretion on any issues which are outside the Assembly, as well as services, which is obviously we saw many fights between the Delhi government and the centre on that, and the Anti-Corruption Bureau. So two big points they've already managed to address. The other issue obviously now is we're going to see a lot of central laws applied to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. There's something like 106 central acts have been specified in the 5th schedule to be applicable. So this includes the Indian Penal Code. So Kashmir no longer has its own penal code, the Ranbir Penal Code. It's now the Indian Penal Code applicable. The Aadhar Act, transfer of property law, which is a big issue again in Kashmir, will now all be applicable to Kashmir as they are at the centre.